Halo Lur, selamat datang kembali di channel To Be Ak. Apa kabar semuanya hari ini? Admin doakan semua dalam keadaan sehat. Amin. Kali ini, kita akan menyaksikan reaksi dari 4 reaktor saat memeriksa Alip Ba Ta Numb. Mari kita mulai Lur.
We're going to do more Alip Ba Ta. Have to. You guys have been amazing out there. Just before I started my Alip Ba Ta 2 reaction videos, I was on about 8,500, 9,000 subscribers, and I think today I'm currently on about 15,000. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, because I will definitely be doing more Alip Ba Ta. Now, of course, I also do other reactions, so from time to time you will see other artists appearing on the channel. I've done different breakdowns. I have original music, some piano covers, quite a lot on my channel, and some of you have been drifting into the other videos because I've seen some comments in there as well. Thank you very much for checking out my music. Music is my life, and to be able to share the music that I make with people is a lovely feeling. So I'd greatly appreciate you taking the time to head over and check some of it out if you've got some spare time. But today, it's all about Alip Ba Ta. So let's get started with his Linkin Park cover of Numb.
So good. That's beautiful. I love the tone of that guitar.
Oh yeah.
Harmonic's beyond the fretboard as well. These little, oh man. And the arrangement's beautiful too. It's not just techniques for the sake of it, they serve the song. This little pinky rhythm thing we've seen before. Lovely, getting the vocal melody in really nicely. To work out what that is, like little harmonics.
Whew. Do you know, something that really comes across in this is how relaxed he is. You know, if you watch all of his movements with his right hand and his left hand, even his body language, his shoulders, everything really laid back. So very ornate and decorative arrangement, which would, you know, take a lot of concentration, not only mentally to prepare and sort of be ahead of the game, ready for everything coming up, but then physically also get all of this ready and in order. So what's really impressing me is he seems to be completely unfazed by the amount of information. There's no jerky movements, nothing quickly trying to get a little percussive tap in here or remembering to do this or that. Everything is really what they call poetry in motion. It's the equivalent of, say, like a rally driver or an F1 driver, you know, navigating a very difficult course at high speed, obstacles, different cars, and, you know, the heart rate really slow, hardly blinking. You know, he's in that sort of zone, just everything flowing so well, despite all of that.
And the bridge. What? How did he do that? How did he do that? I want to see that again. I don't even know how he did that. He used the part of the head of his guitar. Let me grab my guitar for a moment. Wait a little minute. So he used part of the head of his guitar where the strings are attached right here. That's what he used, but I'm not sure how he did that. If he pressed on that whilst he was playing it, I'm not sure at all. But that is crazy. I've never seen somebody do that.
Okay, the things he's doing is crazy. He keeps jumping up here to bend the strings. That was cool. I caught it right there. You know, he's doing... I've seen stuff similar to this before where, you know, people use the whole body, the whole guitar with all their fingers to do really cool stuff. I love what he's doing with it, but I love that he bent the note by going above the nut and you squeeze it, and it basically changes the tuning of the string for just an instant. That was really cool.
This is mind-boggling. There's too much going on here. Like, I can barely process it. This is like how, like, Christmas for guitar players is like a birthday present or something.
Also, as a third reaction to Alip Ba Ta, this one does feel a little bit more complex than the other ones I've listened to. And I love complex music. So whether it's multi-layered music or whether it's solo arrangements, whatever it is, when there's a lot of things happening, a lot of nuances, I particularly find that exciting as a musician to listen to. But I must compliment him on one thing. He's got a lot of information happening without overdoing it, in my opinion. So now that's obviously subjective, and it's all within personal taste as to, you know, maybe some people that watch this feel like he's doing too many things. I feel like he's got just the right amount of his own personality in the arrangement put in without going overboard, so you can still really hear the essence of the song. Now, Linkin Park are not a band that I would be necessarily a big fan of. I don't dislike them, but it's just I listened to a lot of different types of heavier bands back when Linkin Park came out, and Linkin Park didn't really click with me. So I kind of missed the boat. I'm obviously familiar with this.
Holding too tightly. What was that? I didn't... So you saw at a certain point that he strummed the strings a little bit higher on his arm. Normally what that does is gives a little less full sound, so a little bit less bassy sound, more a trebly kind of sound. And that was on purpose, that was clear. Alrighty, let's return a little, let's see that. That was on purpose, I think. Yeah, you heard that? That was a little less of a bassy sound when he strummed higher on his guitar. And the couple of notes that he strummed just before that on the first and second string, I believe, but it was kind of muted. I think he held down his hand to keep them muted when you play it, that the sound doesn't long out, that it doesn't stay there, so it's muted.
So good. The way he's using harmonics and he deadened the strings as well, and still, strummed them while they were dead, which gave it a very percussive feel to it. Wow, this dude is good. It's hard to. I'm trying to think of the words. He's being super subtle about it, and it's just he's so casual with it too. He's so good.
Song though, I've heard it before. So in terms of the key, it does seem to be in standard tuning, this one. So we're in E minor, I think, with the chord progression being E minor to C major, to G major, to D major, which is a very common kind of pop progression, really. We're in the key of E minor, like I said. Then we're going to the sixth, which would be C major, and going to the G, which would be the relative major of E minor. They're both in the same key signature. And then the D chord would be the fifth from the G. And then that's the seventh of the E, if you like.
Nice. The little slides he puts in there adds so much to it. Really nice dominant chord. The diminished run out of nowhere. Insane. This is off the hook.
It's obviously improvising around the keys, trying to keep the melody and some sort of semblance of the original in there. But obviously on the piano, it's a little bit different the way you translate it, because you have the extended range. So, and you could argue that it's easier in a way. In the guitar, you obviously have to think outside the box a little bit in terms of how to do it. I do enjoy some of the raking that he's doing, which is this sort of technique across. I'll grab the guitar. So he's got this thing where he's raking across the strings like this here and hitting harmonics, This kind of thing where you're fretting the note, say there, which would be a D, and then playing the octave above that. So you can kind of get... if you've seen the guitarist Paul Gilbert, it's the first time I really seen that. There's a great song, I think it's called Viking Kong. It's been a lot of years since I've heard him playing it.
I want to hear that again. What an improv. That's not in the original, obviously. Just showing off a little bit, like, no problem. I'll do a little improv right here. No problem. I can do anything. I mean, if I were him, that's what I would say.
Gorgeous arpeggios there.
The sliding of his chords, it seems easy, like everything that he does seems easy, but it's so difficult to be so precise. If you slide chords, first of all, you have to be able to exactly keep that position in your fingers whilst you slide over the strings, but you have to know exactly where to stop, so you're in the correct position. If you're a little bit too far, you could be at the next fret, which will be terrible in sound. If you're not far enough, then the strings might vibrate too much, which will not sound clean. And it's so difficult, especially if you have to go very far down the arm. Man.
Sneaking in these little blues tricks. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh man.
Again. We're back at the beginning.
Harmonics are so clear.
Empat reaktor langsung terhanyut sejak awal Alip Ba Ta mulai memainkan Numb dengan gaya fingerstyle yang khas. Petikan gitarnya terdengar begitu halus, membawa nuansa melankolis yang langsung menyentuh hati. Mereka tampak larut dalam permainan yang penuh penghayatan, seolah setiap nada bercerita tentang perjalanan emosi yang dalam. Suasana hening tercipta, hanya diisi oleh alunan gitar yang lembut namun kuat, membuat para reaktor terpaku pada setiap gerakan jarinya. Kekaguman para reaktor semakin menjadi ketika melihat bagaimana Alip Ba Ta memadukan melodi utama, harmoni, dan bass line dalam satu permainan yang mulus. Semua terdengar begitu teratur tanpa nada yang salah atau keluar tempo. Mereka merasa seperti mendengarkan sebuah orkestra kecil yang dibawakan hanya dengan satu gitar, sebuah kemampuan yang jarang ditemui dan membutuhkan keterampilan luar biasa. Momen tak terduga muncul saat Alip Ba Ta menambahkan teknik harmonik yang membuat beberapa nada terdengar seperti dentingan kristal. Para reaktor saling melirik dengan senyum kagum, karena sentuhan ini memberikan dimensi baru pada lagu Numb. Transisi antar bagian lagu yang ia lakukan terasa begitu alami, seolah-olah aransemen ini memang diciptakan untuk dimainkan dengan cara tersebut. Setiap reaktor juga memuji bagaimana Alip Ba Ta mampu menangkap esensi emosional dari Numb. Meski tanpa vokal, ia berhasil menyampaikan perasaan yang terkandung dalam lagu tersebut. Nada-nada lembutnya membawa kesedihan yang mendalam, sementara petikan yang lebih kuat memberikan sentuhan semangat, menciptakan perjalanan perasaan yang kompleks namun indah. Ada bagian di mana para reaktor hanya terdiam, larut dalam suasana yang diciptakan oleh permainan gitar itu. Mereka membiarkan diri terbawa oleh melodi yang seolah berbicara langsung ke hati. Perpaduan antara teknik tinggi dan rasa yang tulus membuat pengalaman mendengarkan ini terasa begitu istimewa, bahkan tanpa perlu penjelasan kata-kata. Ekspresi santai namun fokus dari Alip Ba Ta saat bermain gitar juga menjadi sorotan. Meski membawakan lagu dengan aransemen rumit, ia terlihat tenang dan menikmati setiap detiknya. Para reaktor menganggap ini sebagai tanda bahwa ia memiliki hubungan yang sangat dalam dengan instrumennya, serta dedikasi yang besar terhadap seni musik yang ia tekuni. Di akhir penampilan, para reaktor sepakat bahwa Numb versi Alip Ba Ta adalah salah satu interpretasi terbaik yang pernah mereka dengar. Aransemen akustiknya mampu menghadirkan rasa yang berbeda namun tetap setia pada jiwa asli lagu tersebut. Mereka berharap Alip Ba Ta terus membuat karya-karya seperti ini, karena setiap petikan gitarnya selalu membawa pendengar pada perjalanan emosional yang tak terlupakan. Itulah lur untuk reaksi kali ini. Sampai jumpa lagi di video selanjutnya bersama channel 2 Dunia. Admin ucapkan terima kasih banyak telah menonton.